Hi everybody, very good to be with you today. My name is Scott Howes and I work for Keep Northern Ireland Beautiful. I'm here today to tell you about a new carbon literacy training program that with the support of Tourism and I is now available to you. Sign up is available today. Keep Northern Ireland Beautiful, the organisation I work for, we are an environmental charity. We work across a number of themes, including biodiversity recovery, so about how we protect our natural world and enhance the natural environment, something we all thoroughly depend on. We work in waste and pollution solutions, whether that be reducing or eliminating even our use of single-use plastics or managing the impacts from the fast fashion industry, a whole range of initiatives there. We work in environmental education, so you will have likely to have heard of the Eco Schools programme that is running in virtually all schools in Northern Ireland. We operate that programme in schools as well. And lastly, climate action. And these carbon literacy programs that we offer are part of that climate action work. The messaging of carbon literacy programs is about inclusion, involvement, raising awareness, and the fact that really connecting a lot of the messages we've heard this morning, that there are things that we can do to raise levels of sustainability, to get involved and to do something, because as it says on the screen there, the worst thing we can do is assume somebody else has the climate crisis covered, and there are things we can all do to take action and be involved. Just a bit of background, we as an organisation have been working in partnership with DERA for a while now, running carbon literacy programmes to a range of sectors such as schools, school leaders, community leaders, universities, youth groups, all sorts of groups really. And it is about pulling people into that conversation and keeping people informed of not only the full climate change information, because in order to deal with the issue, we need to be able to talk about it and understand the full issue, but then moving people into looking at that carbon literacy journey, that sustainability journey. So we have a lot of programs that cover that, and these programs are now available to you as a group of tourism and hospitality providers. We work with an organisation called the Carbon Literacy Project. They are a Manchester-based organisation that oversee the standards and criteria, check the programmes, and they are the certificate awarding body for these programmes that we run as well. So oversee that evidence and certification process. Keep Northern Ireland Beautiful are a carbon literate organisation through the work that we've done with them over that period of time. So the programme is called Carbon Literacy. I keep saying that. What does it mean? The Carbon Literacy Project will define it as this: an awareness of the carbon dioxide costs and impacts of everyday activities, and the ability and motivation to reduce those emissions as an individual or an organisation. Everything we do almost, so many of the things we do every day and don't even think about, as you know, have a carbon cost attached to them. We know that there is a natural system on the planet Earth of carbon production and carbon associated gases being produced into the atmosphere. We also know that there are natural systems that pull that gas back out of the atmosphere. The result of that is that there are some gases in the atmosphere that do heat the globe and do warm us up, but they warm us up to a point where it sustains life, and that suits us. What we've done over the last couple of 100 years is disrupt that system with the way we use fossil fuels, and we're pumping gases out into the atmosphere at a pace that are warming the globe and causing global warming and disrupting our weather systems and threatening all sorts of things that we do and the natural world. So carbon literacy is key, and the programs take you through learning about that and informing you about that. Carbon Literacy for Tourism, which with the support of Tourism and I is now available to you to register on and book today, provides you with a background to that climate change information, gives you all of the information you need. What are the emissions? Where are they from? Who's producing them? Where are they having the most impact? What's that impact like around the globe? Significantly, what's that impact like in Northern Ireland? So we dig into that conversation and then start to look at carbon footprinting, carbon accounting. How do you go about doing that and move into that? We look at some examples of businesses, tourism businesses who've already done that. How have they done that? How did that work out? And focus on that sustainability journey. We look at the business case for action, connected to a lot of the messaging you've heard already, and then start to move into a process of looking at, well, if you were going to make one pledge, one thing that you were going to do differently as an individual to reduce carbon emissions in your life, what would that be? And then if you were going to make one pledge for your organization, what would that be? And we start that discussion and give you space to have those conversations and start to look at how you can to initiate your journey. So it really is finding space for you to have that conversation. We don't often sit down and have conversations about climate change. We don't talk about the problem in order to support the solutions as much as maybe we should. And it gives you the resources and the time and the opportunity to do that and network with colleagues, to have those conversations and learn from colleagues. It also doesn't force on you any decisions. It gives you the space to hear the information and look at the routes for taking action, but also gives you the space to start you deciding what next. You can make short-term and long-term plans. You can decide what will be first for you, which will be different from a different organization, a different business. So it gives you the space to do all of that and then, of course, put those plans into action and talk about your journey, share that with your consumers, your customers, in a way that will benefit you along the way as well. We know that change is hard. And I think we all want things to be different, but actually when it comes down to doing something different, that's really tricky. And certainly as businesses leading, and it is a leadership position in terms of taking some of these changes forward, because it can affect so many people. We know that's a huge challenge. So we do talk about that, and we talk about that kind of human reaction to change and about how maybe we can think about some things to overcome some of those barriers that are there for all of us in our lives that stop us from doing things differently when really we know we should and could in so many ways. A very human space. So just in summary, this is a program supported by Tourism NI. It's ideal really if you're just starting your sustainability journey and want all of the background information, want a space to discuss it and come together with colleagues to share that with your staff teams. And it's an inclusive process that encourages debate and discussion. So it's there for you if you're interested. We have two programs in operation, one in January and one in March. The structure of the training is that it's about 8 hours worth of learning, about a day's worth of learning. There are two 2.5-hour Zoom meetings, and around that a variety of reading, I was going to say tasks, but really opportunities to inform yourself of different things. We give you lots of supplementary information that will help you on that process of learning. You don't need to come out into it with a lot of previous experience, but there are great opportunities along the way to learn from colleagues. So do, if you're interested, come and have a chat with me at the back. Oh, gone too far. Come and have a chat with me at the back. That's my contact details, but I'd be happy to tell you a bit more information. You can go onto the Tourism NI website and you can log in and you can get access to booking onto those programs today if you're interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. You know I have a question. I always have a question. The 2.5-hour Zoom meetings, are they live meetings?
Yes, they are. Yeah, live Zoom meetings.
Okay, so it's not a recorded training.
No, it's not. No.
I liked your slide there about leadership and how we react to being in leadership positions. Sure. It's really good. I often think with this area, we all kind of think someone else is in charge of climate action.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit more about leadership for businesses? Because the surveys are telling us as well, the consumers are expecting the businesses to lead. I feel businesses may be expecting government to lead. And it's kind of a circle of who's leading, and we're all talking about it, but who's leading? Yeah,
and we do address that in the training. There's no question that everyone has their part to play, and I think part of the carbon literacy training that we focus on is about still expecting governments to do their bit. At every point along the way, we should be shouting upwards saying, change, move forward, change policy, make these things easier, facilitate change. Equally, we all have our part to play. Nobody is exempt from this. And I think, the capacity for small, sort of medium-sized businesses to reduce carbon emissions across the UK is enormous. And so what might feel like small changes within your organisation are actually hugely significant and are part of that leadership shift. You connect with so many people through your businesses, and actually people hearing about what you're doing to move towards a sustainable way of delivering in so many ways is hugely significant. That is leadership. But we have to deal with the human process of that decision making along the way, and so discussing that and looking at that and starting out on your leadership journey is an exciting thing to be doing, not necessarily an easy thing to be doing, but certainly there are huge wins to be achieved out there.
It's definitely challenging us to think differently. Our traditional thing is someone's in charge and others follow. It's back to this is a circle. We all need to do stuff, and everything we do is feeding into others. It's kind of elevating. I noticed with Lisa's presentation as well, she had her circle and she's saying, you were at pains to say climate action is part of it, but there's all the other good stuff. There's a whole lot of things that we're required to think of at the same time and together. Yes. It's quite hard for us to do it, really, isn't it?
And these kind of events, connecting the dots and bringing people together, are so important. But I do think sitting back and waiting for government to make the change is not enough. I think connecting communities, connecting businesses, and us coming together to push for change and to build that wave of momentum is the thing that is most important for all of us. Climate change is very real. It's affecting all of us in ways we might not quite feel yet or recognize yet, and we look at that in the training. But it's affecting our planet, and we can't separate ourselves here now from the rest of the planet out there. So we are all connected in that way, and potentially enormously powerful as businesses and communities. So yes, those connections are key.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Scott. That's wonderful.